let's go ahead and look at 3.4 questions. The sample mean and standard deviation, we knew is 32.1 and 6.2. When we round those, we had those values there. Find the z-score for a car moving 20 miles per hour in the construction zone. So on this problem here, we need to recall the z-score is a measure of how far you are from average. So in this case, you're going to do 20 minus 32.1 divided by the standard deviation, which is 6.2. So what we're finding is that this 20 is less than the average value, right? And so how far is it? And it's measured in standard deviations. So that value there, as we look at that number that we get here, you get negative 1.95. You're almost 2 standard deviations below average if your score is 20. Negative 1.95 standard deviations below average. Find the z-score for a car 40 miles per hour. So in this case, your z-score is going to be positive because it's 40 minus 32.1. And then you're measuring how many standard deviations you're away from the average, because the formula for standard deviation, is your x value minus the mean divided by standard deviation. And so in this case, as we figure that one out, you get 7.9 divided by 6.2. 7.9 divided by 6.2. This one's 1.27 standard deviations above, right? Because each one of these is 1 standard deviation. Determine the quartiles. That's Q1, Q2, Q3. And to determine the quartiles, you line the data up, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So here's the middle. So here Q2 is equal to 32.5, which is the median, which we knew that. Q1 is going to be the median of this one here. So notice there's 7 values, 3, 3. So this value here, Q1, is 28. And again, Q3 is going to be the median of the upper half. And so there's 3 and 3. So then Q3 is 38. So you have those quartiles right there. There's my Q1, Q2, and Q3. Those are the quartiles. And in this case here, there's another way we can look at that. Again, in StatCrunch, you go summary stats, columns, and the speeds. Notice one of the options are the quartiles. Q1, Q3, and median, which we have already. And so then you will see you have 28, 38, and 32.5 as your quartiles. The interquartile range is the formula. IQR is Q3 minus Q1. In this case, your Q3 was 38, Q1 is 28. So 38 minus 28, and so you have 10. And then the formula we know for the lower fence to find if there's an outlier, the lower fence is just going to be, the lower fence is Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR. Upper fence is Q1 plus 1.5 times IQR. And those fences are determining if you have any outliers. So in this case, it's 28 minus 1.5 times 10. This one is 38 plus 1.5 times 10. And so that's just 28 minus 15. So your lower fence is 13. Your upper fence in this case is 38 plus 15. And that equals 53. And so now if there's any values lower than 13 or higher than 53, which there are none, so because there's none of these values are lower than 13 or higher than higher than 53, we have no outliers because of those fences, right? Those fences have no numbers outside of them.